about making sure we're on time. Hello and welcome to the weekly training session with Coach Manny Nowak. I'm excited to have you all here. I'm going to make sure I have the tab open. Um, okay, look on your tab. Make sure you can raise hands if you need to. Make sure you know how to type in the question. Um, all right. And I got some people saying hello. I just want to say hi back to you guys. It's great to have you here on the call today. All right. Today we're going to talk about sales techniques that work. And again, there's our website. That's a hot link if you want to go out. There is a blog post on the stuff that we're going through today. Let me just set this timer to make sure I don't blow off too much time. And let's go. Here we go. All right. Now, the first point in sales that we're going to talk about today is make cold calls every day. You know, I posted this out on the internet and I got a lot of interaction, and I might have got some of it from some of you on the call today. Got a lot of interaction that says that's a dead field. Nobody makes cold calls anymore. Manny, what are you talking about? That thing has died. Well, an interesting point is one of my clients and a good friend who happens to have a company that's growing by leaps and bounds, and she is doing so well. And guess what business she's in? Cold calling. So if you think cold calling's dead, forget it. It's not dead. If you hate doing it, join the 99% of the rest of us who hate it as well. Never been anything I love to participate in, but something that we need to do. And I just got a few comments here. And again, type in a question if you have a question, or raise your hand if you want to get into this conversation. I'll unmute you, and you can dive right in here. What I say about cold calls is real simple. Pick a number. I don't care if it's 3 cold calls a day, if it's 50 cold calls a day. Consistency is what drives it. So I'm going to make so many cold calls every day, and that's it. And do it. Just do it. And the consistent manner of, if I say to you, I'm going to do 10 cold calls every day, 5 days a week, and at the end of 2 months, do you think you're going to have some success? You will have some success. The problem is that most people, when we talk about cold calls, and I talk to salespeople, I say, are you making cold calls regularly? They say, when I don't have anything else to do, or sometimes, but usually I try to find some other way to do it. That doesn't work. It doesn't work for any of us. And even if you go to like my friend's company and you have somebody else do it, that's okay. That's okay. So again, if you have any comments on there, let me see what we got here. We do have some feedback. Nobody raising. All right, I got a comment, and this is a good comment. Cold calls aren't dead, but I'm getting increasing success on LinkedIn. Absolutely. And LinkedIn, by the way, is a great tool to take that cold call and kind of warm it up. Find out what connectivity you can make and who knows that person. So when you're making a call, it's not really cold. And I love LinkedIn. People just haven't seen the power that's in there. And we did a webinar not that long ago on LinkedIn. It's changed a lot. We're getting ready to do another one. I don't think we're going to talk much about LinkedIn at the conference, but we are going to be talking about the whole social media thing. So we will try to keep that in mind. All right. Enough on cold calls. I don't have any other feedback. Let's go to page 2, number 2. emails. Send emails every day. Have you noticed something? Is it consistency? It is. Any great salesperson is so consistent. That's what makes them a great salesperson. They do A, B, C, D, and E, and that's what makes them successful. Emails are so easy, but remember, and this is where a lot of people, again, I got some great feedback on the web last week and over the last 2 weeks when I posted some of this stuff. And what I got back was, we can do emails. That's all we need to do anymore. It isn't. Emails are one tool. Cold calls are one tool. If you are a master sales expert, you have a toolbox full of tools that help you to be really good at selling. And you need that toolbox full. Just like a great master carpenter needs their toolbox full to be successful. Email is just one tool. It doesn't replace cold calls. And I know one of the things we always get on cold calls is, well, people get annoyed if I do too many emails. Well, true. If you probably, there is a number, and I don't know what that number is because I found a lot of research, but I can tell you personally, if you email me every day, you get annoying. If you email me a couple times a week, I choose to open or not. So, but again, the consistency, do the cold calls every day and send some emails. Email is a super tool, isn't it? I mean, when you think about it, wow. All I have to do is sit down and type. Now, we do a weekly newsletter, but you need some personal touch on the email. All right. I'm not getting any feedback on those emails, huh? I must not have a lot of my internet marketing people on today. Let's keep going. Number 3 is return every call. And when I ran a sales team, this is one of those things that just it's almost near practice and follow up. Return every call. You know, if somebody went to the effort of calling you today, you need to call them back today. I make it a point to call back everyone who calls me. If you call me, I will call you back. Now, I might be 7 o'clock tonight when I call you back, but I will call you back. And people say, Manny, I'm done working. I know, but I said, and I commit to call people back, and that's why I'm calling you back. Couple comments here. Yes, you have time to make the call. When somebody calls, if your phone's ringing, it means you're doing something right. And if your phone's ringing and you're returning the calls, you're doing something else even better. So let's return those calls. And we got some errors out there. That's good. Thank you very much for your feedback here. But let me keep going. And again, if you find anything on here, we're doing this as we put this together weekly. We put it together quickly, but we try to make it good. All right, let's keep going. Yes, you have time to make calls. You have time to call people back. It's bad business. When you call me and I don't call you back, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel like, well, Manny really doesn't think um, that what I'm doing is important? Manny doesn't feel that what I'm doing is something that he doesn't have the time, effort, and energy to call me back. Wow. And I'm your competition. I call people back. Where does that put me in the realm of things? So make it an effort. I try to take the last part of the day and I go through and say, who didn't I call back? and I try to make an effort to call those people back. Now, that doesn't mean I get hold of everybody. The point is, I make the call back. Now the ball is in your park, and you have to deal with it. All right, I got a question about, am I going to be able to get a copy of this presentation? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to load this webinar up for about a week on the website. So you'll be able to watch this whenever you want. Now, if you're a client, we'll work some other things out. You know, clients always get a copy of everything. So, all right. So no questions on return every call. No feedback there, huh? I guess everybody's all right with that. And you feel it's important. Now, if you're running a sales team, this needs to be critical. I hate it when I used to run sales team, and even today when people talk about clients of mine who don't do this, when somebody says, "You know what? I called Joe and he didn't call me back, Manny. What do you think?" Wow, I don't think too much. I tell you the truth. All right. Now you'll see that one of the things that I'm not happy about today is that these slides are kind of jammed. And I teach PowerPoint not to do this, but we had so much information that I wanted to share on the screen with you. So we jammed it up a little bit. So I do apologize for some of these slides. Make the follow-up calls you said you would when you said you were going to do it. If you call me and we have a good conversation, or we meet and you say, "Okay, Manny, I'll get back to you on the 15th. Great. Did you get back to me? There is never a reason not to get back to people. Even if you're a solopreneur out there, you better have a CRM system in your process. If you don't know what works, I send me an email. I will turn you on to some systems that are effective that you can get for $15 a month. And if you can't afford $15 a month to make sure your sales process works correctly, then that's an issue. So just send me an email and I will help you connect. But you need a CRM system in your process. It's the way you make sure that when I meet with somebody, and I know some of you are so busy, and some salespeople have so much going on, and that's what CRM is great. You go in there, you mark. I said I'd call him back on the 17th. I mark down, I got to call back Joe Smith on the 17th. I mark on the 15th. I got to get ready to call him back, and whatever I said I was going to do needs to be in place. Bang! And we're in business. One of the techniques that you should use is whenever I'm in a sales call, I'll always ask, "What's the best time to call you back? What's the best day of the week?" When I call, am I going to get through? And a lot of people, especially those of you out there that are busy, will say, "You know, Manny, the best time to reach me is before 8 o'clock in the morning. Just give me a buzz and I will pick up the phone myself and I will talk to you." All right, let me look at this question. Okay, yeah, that's a great comment there about the client will remember that you called them back when you said you would. And they will also remember, even more so, I think, sometimes that you didn't. So when you say you're going to make the follow up call, and don't tell me, and just an outside comment, Outlook is not a CRM. Outlook is an email tool. You need a CRM that tracks your customers. There's nothing better than when I do the follow up, I can go into my CRM system and say, "Here's what we talked about last time. Here's what I said I would do." And bang, I do the follow up. And the question there at the end, of course, is, are you happy when people don't call you back? Hmm. Ever think about that? Build your prospect list every day. Every day. Successful salespeople and people who are selling and doing it tremendously well will build their prospect list every day. Come up with a number. Think about it and say, how many prospects do I want to add to my list? Now, I worked for Boeing, and I can tell you that if you're in the business of selling airplanes, you probably know all the prospects, right? But how many of us are in a business where we know the number of prospects? Endless for most of you. I work with a lot of you who are in the coaching, consulting, professional services business, and you know you have an unlimited amount of potential customers out there. If you're in the consumer market, there is no limit, is there? Let's be serious. So every day, whether it's one prospect, 10, 50, it doesn't matter. But come up with a number, make it a goal, and hit it. Don't think about it, just do it. Build your prospect list, because here's what's going to happen. I make a commitment to add X number of people to my list every week, which then I break down to a daily number so I can make it. And at the end of the year, I look back and I say, wow. And sales is a numbers game, isn't it? I mean, nobody's going to argue with me about that one. You might argue with me about cold calls and email, but you're not going to argue with me that sales is a numbers game. And the more you put in the funnel, the more will come out the bottom. And we're not talking about funnel, and we're not talking about follow up. We'll talk about those things in the future. But just a sidestep for a minute. A funnel means these are all the people that are coming to me. These are all the suspects. And now I'm going to convert them into prospects and blow them down my funnel. And follow up, well, I'll talk about that in a moment. Let me keep going here. Read, listen, and learn every day. And I'm not getting a lot of feedback here. I got some questions, which I really appreciate. I hope in the next few weeks, as we continue this call, we'll get some more interaction out there, and we'll get some of you out on the line, and we'll get some of you to talk. And really, maybe I don't have enough controversial issues up here, so we'll put some more questions up here. And maybe this will be the one. Um, Read at least one book every month. And I don't care how busy you are. Books, and I do coaching of a lot of senior executives. And one thing I teach them is you need to be innovative, and the way you need to keep putting new stuff in there. You can get so wrapped up that you forget that. And nothing new comes in. And after a while, you burn out. So I wouldn't hire, and I help people build sales teams. That's one of the things I do. And I tell them I wouldn't hire a sales rep or a senior executive that didn't read a book a month, because there's nothing new. And I don't want old. I need innovation in order to create success. So if you want to come back with me on that one, listen to a recording every day. There's so much stuff. I don't know how many of you have been out on YouTube. I love YouTube, and I make it a point to walk every day. One of the things I do is I walk a couple of miles every day, and I listen to a YouTube recording, whether it's motivational, inspirational, educational. I don't have to watch them. I can just listen to them on my smartphone. But that makes such a difference. You'd be amazed at what a difference in your whole process it can make if you take time to listen. All right, so I got a question here. Good question. Are you suggesting to read a business related book or any type of book? Well, I think that's a tough question because I believe any book will give you something that will help you. And I think you should read some fiction, although I don't think you ought to read too much of it. I know one of my great friends, and she just loves to read romance novels, and I don't know if that's there, but whether it's inspirational, I don't care what the book is. I think the fact is that every book will help you think and be innovative, and will throw something in your mind, perhaps that wasn't there before. So I think at this point, if you read something, it's a plus from my standpoint. And I think from your standpoint. Um, I got some more other people who love the podcast. Get out there, podcast, YouTube, listen to something every day. Okay. If you're a salesperson, and I got some salespeople out there and some people looking for sales process today, turn off that talk radio. Here we go. Now I'll get a little controversial. Turn off that talk radio. Turn off that sports talk. Turn off that music. When you're in your car is a library. And I didn't say that. Zig Ziglar said that many, many years ago. And use that time to educate, motivate, and inspire yourself. You know how much time and effort you're wasting? Are you going to, on your way to a sales call, you're listening to two idiots argue on the phone? Argue on the radio about some sports issue which has no impact in your life? Or are you listening to a motivational piece which is going to pump you up and make you so much better when you get to your client? You see, sales generates money, but you gotta sell. And from the time your day starts until you finish tomorrow's plan and you're done, you need to be selling. Leave all that other stuff out there. Don't be don't get so wrapped up. We get so wrapped up in getting mad about what's going on in the world when we're supposed to be selling. My parents worked in the factories. A lot of my friends I grew up with ended up working in the factories. And there, it's real simple. You come in, you work, and you work. What if you change your work ethic so that when you're in sales, your day starts at this hour, it ends here, and between that time, you work. All right. There's so much, again, just so you, if you can't find something out on YouTube or you're wondering, what am I talking about? Send me an email and I'll turn you on to some stuff. Try something new every day. And how we doing here? We're pretty good on time. I think we're going to make it for today. Appreciate you all being here today. And we got some good questions. No interaction, but we'll get that next week. Try something new every day. A new CD, a new book, a new list, a new technique every day. Put something simple, new in your life and watch what happens to the sales process. Change your open. I know people who have been using the same silly open and close, and it works, but if you add something new, it might work even better. Try a different technique. I started, if you've talked to me in the last couple of weeks, and you ask me how you doing, man, and my new line is I'm on top of the world, and it's been working tremendously because people are like, really? What does that mean? It means I'm on top of the world, looking around, having a great time, and enjoying life. Innovation makes you better. Do you believe that? Innovation makes you better. That's why you read. That's why you work hard. That's why you get all the new stuff. You listen to new stuff and you say, wow, why don't I try this? Or maybe this is working. Or, wow, makes a big difference. Um, I wanted to talk just a moment on follow up. We're going to do another sales process. I don't know what we're doing next week yet, but you'll get a notice about what we're going on. You can always find it up on the website. But I want to just say follow up. Make sure you're doing the follow up. The biggest killer to most sales processes, people don't follow up. You meet great people, you talk to people, but you're missing that consistency piece and you're not staying connected. You need to do that follow up. That's it. Those are the techniques. Now they're just 7 of the things that we need to look at. And try one of these. Just use one of these and watch what happens. You'll be amazed at what happens. So, just a brief process here. Come to our $1 million business development. If you like what you hear today, man, we got 2 days of this, and you don't just have to listen to me. I just want to put that out there. There's a hot link to the $1 million